Hey, who is the best coach left in the NBA playoffs? There's only 4 left, so it makes it easy to put it into a X poll.
Yeah.
But it was more looking at the coaches that were left, and you were like, this is not the who's who of coaching that you normally get some stalwarts, but it is part of that when you talk about the new group of people coming in, the new coaches, that there's a little bit more, there's some different blood in the coaching staff as well. And I know Rick Carlisle is a former NBA champion. He's been around. Jason Kidd has been around now for a little while with Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Joe Mazzulla is clearly new. Chris Finch is pretty new. So there's a couple of really new guys, and then a couple of guys who are just not always in these conference finals and not always at this level. But you take away some of the old time stalwarts of coaching. So I don't think there's an easy answer for this one. So I'm curious what you guys think.
Not only is it not an easy answer, but you can make the argument that basically these playoffs right now will determine largely how this series goes for all these coaches, will determine a lot about their legacy and how they are perceived by the public. Jason Kidd ends up getting to the finals. I mean, he just signed his contract extension. People are going to get really high on Jason Kidd all of a sudden because he took down the number 1 seed to do it and took down arguably, other than the Celtics. I don't even know if you can consider the Celtics hot. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are a hotter team than the Celtics. Celtics have just been dominant. I don't know if they've gotten hot. You can't say they've gotten hot. Minnesota got hot. So they took down the hottest team and the number 1 seed in the West. Chris Finch, it would be, and this thing about it, your breakdown, which was a brilliant one, very astute observations when you talked about how the construction of the Timberwolves, essentially they were constructed to basically to counter what the Nuggets were doing. And they actually, even one of their executives went to the Minnesota Timberwolves from the Nuggets.
Yes.
To help be the architect.
Yeah, he was he came in, he helped build the Nuggets, and then ended up going to Minnesota and said, okay, I know how to reverse engineer what I just built, and I will beat the team to beat it. But I think what you're doing is the reality is now you have to play a completely different style of team. And
no, it's true. It's true. But my point is, Chris Finch, does he get more credit for that? Because the reason they beat Denver was because of more what you talked about. It was more because of the construction of the roster, not necessarily the game plan. They're a bad matchup for Denver. The bad matchup is because you talked about the roster construction and the way they were built.
And I think too is you could tell that Chris Finch and them had planned for Denver. They were ready for Denver. This was the matchup we wanted. We want to knock Denver off.
It was like a Sark-Bama situation where it's like, damn, they've been planning for this for like 3-4 months.
They're ready to go. And then you come out to the next series and they go, we didn't know they like to pick and roll. And who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? We just thought they'd shoot threes. You're like, man, no, that's y'all. It's y'all who shot too many threes.
No, so my point is, like, I don't know if Chris Finch is getting enough credit for that win over the defending champions, because I'm with you. I think it's more the architecture of the team. Joe Mazzulla, we talked about how Boston's been so dominant, then Boston has achieved under a lot of other coaches. And, this is 7 of the last 8 years we've seen Boston do some disrespect and make a deep run in the East. And then Rick Carlisle, I think it's more just reputation. But if Rick Carlisle is able to coach a team up to beat Boston, he's going to get a lot of credit for, like, okay, you know what, Rick Carlisle's a hell of a coach. They were coached up because they're seen to be at a talent disadvantage in this series.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's why it's such a great question, because largely how they do in this this round of the playoffs, all these coaches, that will largely determine what the right answer or correct answer is to this question. Right now I'm a little split. I'm split on I'm split on Carlisle, and I'm split on maybe Chris Finch.
Chris Finch is an interesting one because it's going to be what his adjustments are in game 2 are going to be huge. That's why I like to ask these questions before, because I want to get people's opinion before we get the easier answer. Because if Chris Finch comes out and dominates, or if Jason Kidd dominates him again, they win 2 on the road, then it becomes more of, okay, maybe we see a little bit more. If we wait till after the playoffs and whoever wins is going to be the answer, so we can go easy that way. I do like Nate brought up a good point here on the tech side, which is that Jason Kidd is the first coach to really get Kyrie to calm down and beat Kyrie. And I think there's other factors in that, but to get the best version of Kyrie Irving, at this point in his career, when everyone else who's been doing it has failed.
And you got Luka playing some defense in critical moments, in crucial moments, something we didn't see from Luka early on in his carear.
Yeah.
Like I said, it could easily be Jason Kidd, but we won't know that until, like 3-4 games into this series, 3-4 more games into this series. So Yeah, it's a great question because I don't know if there's a right answer.
That's it's why.
And I don't know if there's a wrong one. I don't know if there's a wrong one either.
Yeah, exactly. That's where. None of them are bad coaches. We can all say they're all good coaches. It's just a question of, are any of them really above the others?
Yeah.
If you were hiring a coach right now, if you were the Lakers and you said we have to hire a coach today and we get the pick of these 4, I don't know. I don't know which of the 4 I